G'day everyone, welcome to the Poker Pulse podcast, episode 7. It's been a couple of weeks since we last saw you, and once again, we're glad to be back. I hope you all had a fantastic break and New Year and Christmas and all of that. Once again, I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, poker player and dealer Catherine Young. How are you, Catherine?
I'm good. It's so good to be back. Good to see you again, Craig.
Yeah, now you had a good break, I'd imagine.
Yes, it was a very, very eventful December. I was overseas, obviously. I talked about that last podcast. I was in the Bahamas and then come back via New York and then back to Sydney and then New Year's, and now we're here.
Yeah, well, that sounds like pretty fun. I've been to New York. I love that place, but I haven't been to the Bahamas, so might catch up on some little shorts or videos or stuff that you took. We might have a quick look at that.
Just a casual fill adding, you know how it is.
And then Troy, welcome back. How was your break and New Year's?
Yeah, no, it was really good, really relaxing. Didn't do a great deal of live poker or anything like that. Just online grind and a little bit of streaming and stuff. No, it's been good.
You're looking a bit tired, so you might have had a late night last night. Is that right?
Yeah, I was up all night playing, and I just woke up from a quick nap before I had to film this bad boy.
Good. Any success or spots to report? Any bad beats?
Not today. Not the last. Not this year. I have been getting destroyed in every all-in this year. So, only up from here.
I suppose I should mention that Troy's also started streaming on Twitch, so you can follow him on 5Bet Bluff. I caught up with his stream a few days ago, and it was an interesting hand he had where he had the 8-3. 8-3 offsuit.
Put it in.
Yeah, and for a bounty, and it was absolutely crushed pre-flop and ended up rivering him and taking a nice bounty. So that was good fun. And also, very special episode today. We're very fortunate to have another huge special guest on our show. We've heard of poker sharks, but this week we have a poker croc. Bring him in right now. Here he is.
Croc!
Oh, look at that. A little crocodilia, is it? Who would that be?
Crocodile How are you, Catherine? How are you, Troy? Craig?
G'day,
How are you doing?
Good
Happy
to
New
see
Year.
you.
Welcome,
Happy New Year to
Billy.
everybody.
Argyros, is that how you pronounce it?
Mate, I've heard Argyros, I've had Argyros, I've had in Greek it's Argyros in English, I guess. Argyros. So you know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we've got.
It depends where you pronounce it.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of chat about with you, some Croc Tales and all sorts of stuff in a sec. But I just wanted to just let everyone know what's coming up on the show. So obviously we've got yourself. We'll be talking about some cool stories, some of your achievements, plenty of that stuff. Then we're going to have our In the Blender segment where we'll quiz yourself, Troy and Cathy. And our topic this week, I've really been getting into crocodiles this week. So some of our questions will be around that. Then what we might talk about as well is some big poker coming up. And you're involved with Stacked Poker in Adelaide. So we'll go through what to expect down there. I really like what they're doing down there and some other sort of stuff off the field as well. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll have our regular Maiden winners segment where I go through some of the first-time winners this year already in Australian poker. So someone who's never won a trophy. And then a few other poker series that's also coming up over the next couple of months. So, yeah, as I said, we've got you, Billy. So you're the special guest, Catherine. Thought maybe we might start with you. You got any questions about the obvious ones for Croc or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's start with the blaringly obvious. Can you just tell us about your name, how you got the nickname the Croc, why it's such a signature of you, and how this all came to be?
Oh my God, this. I think I must have told this story about 1 million times. We'll go 1,000,001. Basically, first I was in Vegas since it was 1988, and no one knew my name or everything. Everyone had nicknames in Vegas, and I played this satellite, and I ended up cashing for 14,000 US. So I'm so excited. It's like huge amount of money for me. So I've woken up. I couldn't sleep. I've woken up 8 o'clock in the morning. They said one seat left for the 1K satellite for the main event. And so I said, you know what? I just peeled off 1,000, sat down. 3.5 hours later, I'm heads up with Johnny Moss, and I'm nervous as anything. And I had 60% of the chips, and he had 40%. And I said, Mr. Moss, would you like to do a deal? He goes, what kind of deal you want to do, boy? And I said, well, I've got 60% of the chips. You got 40. How about you give me 5K cash? I'll take 10% of you in the main. He gets up. Now, I didn't know about this at the time, but people have backers, which, so he walked up, and someone must have been backing him. So he's gone and walked away. At this time, a big rails formed, because it's like, 20 minutes to go before the main event. They're all watching on and they're hearing the conversation. And Johnny comes back and he goes, tell you what I'm going to do, boy. I'm triple world champion Johnny Moss. I'll give you 4,000 cash. That's a very good deal for you. And no 10%. You got a deal? And he puts his hand over to shake my hand. I go, deal the cards. And anyway, the crowd goes, oh my God, who was that? And one of the guys didn't know my name. He just, the famous movie was Crocodile Dundee. He goes, that's Crocodile Dundee from Australia. Anyway, I went on to win. And the guy comes up, and I overheard him, and he goes, oh, congratulations, what's your name? I said, Crocodile Bill. Started shaking his hand. He goes, all right, Crocodile Bill. And then from then on, I started buying paraphernalia and stuff, and went the following year, and I started getting puppets and hats and T-shirts. And that's without even TV being on, because in the old days, a lot of people, did a lot of that stuff back there. It was everyone had nicknames. And one of the guys came up to me, he goes, I tell you what, Crocodile, it took me 15 years to get my nickname, Hippie John. You haven't been here 15 weeks. And then it just blew. And then, later on, people started to call themselves. I think I used to play with Bert and he started calling himself the Shark when the TV stuff came on and everything. But I had, I did all my crocodile paraphernalia at the start. To me, I think poker's fun, and it's, try to enjoy it and try to make everyone laugh at the table.
Did you win the satellite?
Yes. No, I won the satellite.
Oh,
Let's go.
I won the satellite. Sorry. That's how I won. I continued, and then 15 minutes later, I won. The guy comes up and he goes, congratulations, you're in. Now, I actually tell you, now I'm in the main event. This is how I got knocked out, the main event, first time ever. I'm raw as anything, but I was very aggressive back then. So we end up playing, and we're near the end of day one. The guy's raised, and I shouldn't even call with a hand, but I've got ace-3 of spades. So I said, I'm on the button. You know what? I'm going to call. If he checks to me, I'm just going to bet. So I've called. The big blind decides to call. The flop comes over 2, 4, 5. I flopped the nuts.
Good flop.
Well, second nuts, 2, 4, 5. First guy checks. The original raiser now bets something. I'm so excited. Like, I've played like an absolute amateur. I'm all in. I'm doing high fives. I've got the waitress coming and pay. They go, look what I got, look what I got, look what I got. The guy in the big blind, he sits there and he looks there and he goes, his name was Kevin Rickard. I'll never forget. He had these stupid sunglasses on, big glasses, like big things. Anyway, he calls. The other guy passed 2 jacks. He turns over. I swear to you, ace deuce was his hand. And I'm walking out the door. Peels off a 5 and a 5. And when he called me, I'm celebrating. I'm going, oh, I've got him. I've won. I'm going to double up. Da, 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 da. And next thing you know, I'll turn around. I'm walking out the door. So that was my introduction to the first time at the World Series, playing the main event, and how I got knocked out on day one. Anyway, soldier on.
Yeah.
How many runners would they have had back then?
No, the numbers back then were very, very low, Troy. You wouldn't have had, I reckon that event, there would have been 150 maximum.
wow.
1988, I reckon it was, but maybe even less. Even when in 95, when I've had my deepest finish of 15th, they had 340 then. It wasn't to 2000s when it started to take off. The numbers.
Do you remember who won the event that year? I think I looked it up. So
yeah. Unfortunately, Dan Harrington.
And your deepest run.
That was my deepest run. Dan Harrington. And
yes.
I was third chip leader with 27 left. And I played a massive pot with Howard Goldfarb, who ran second, and Hamid Delmarshi. And I laid down a nut flush draw on the flop, because I thought to myself, I don't want to go down on, I don't want to lose on a draw. And then I lost with queens over jacks and kings over ace deuce, and I'm walking out the door. 14th or 15th, I finished.
And you were walking out the door at Binions in those days, was it?
Yes, the old horseshoe. You know, you go back these days and you wonder, what in the hell was I doing in this joint?
Yeah, the low ceilings, the smoky rooms. You know,
the smoke was terrible, absolutely terrible smoke. But look, back then the other thing is everyone knew everybody. You go to the World Series these days, and if Troy's there, I might not see him for 3 weeks. Everyone's everywhere. Everyone's at the Aria, at the Wynn, over there. They're over at the Venetian. They're in the bronze room, the gold room, the Amazon room. You don't even know where. You know, you might not run into someone that you know there for a week. Back then, everyone used to end up at the end of the thing, go to the bar and have a drink, and everyone knew everybody. You know, you had 150 runners maximum in these events.
Yeah. Is that your most favourite destination? I know we had you on the Player Probe on one of our first episodes. We caught up with you at the start. Cathy asked you a couple of questions, and you mentioned somewhere else over in Europe, I believe.
You're gonna get it. Yeah, okay. Probably my favourite trip was 2008. We were sponsored by T6 Poker at the time, and we ended up going to San Remo and Monte Carlo, and it was just beautiful because you could play poker and then go for a swim. The food was unbelievable in San Remo, and the visual effects of Monte Carlo is pretty nice. You see some beautiful cars come up, and the Monte Carlo Bay Resort Club was a really beautiful place to have poker at those days. It probably still is, you know. So that was probably my favourite trip. One of the other favourite trips was probably Queenstown. Not a lot of poker, but magnificent scenery and everything. But Monte Carlo is just beautiful. Being in there in summer I think I've never been to the Bahamas, but I reckon Paradise Island must be magic to go. To go to play a tournament and then to sit there and go out on the beach and have a swim would be magnificent, I think.
It was. The resort and the setup that they do in the Bahamas, I recommend it highly.
You've been, Catherine?
Yeah, I went to this one, the one that just happened back in December last year. It was phenomenal. They had the Triton series on at the same time, so all the high rollers were there. You name a player, they were there. It was amazing. And like, if you get a bad beat, you're still in the resort. You've got all the pools, you've got the water slides, you've got the beach, you've got cocktails. It was amazing.
That sounds even better than Monte Carlo, because you know there you had the scenery and you got the scenery and the water, but you had, you know, as you said, you got the water slides and everything else. So that would have been really, really good.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get there? It was like, I heard it's like a 30 hours plus.
Oh my goodness. The way there, it was like about 25 hours, and that's because we only had we had 3 plane rides, we had 2 layovers, and they were only like 2.5 hours each. So we did it like one flight to the other. But right. I saw some of the options were like 35, 40 hours, and I was like, I'm not taking that.
Unfortunately, this old Croc is too old for that. In the old days, when I was younger, I could, you know, do all those flights, but now I just wanted to have a couple of hours flight somewhere around Australia and go play poker.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of the reasons that I like to highlight on this podcast as well. The other benefits of poker, like obviously we love the game, but there's so many other benefits to poker, isn't there? Like the travel you get to do, and you've already mentioned that, you know, sitting down with some of the best players in the world, Johnny Moss and Dan Harrington, and also you work closely with Stacked, so they're in Adelaide. So I just wanted to quickly talk about that destination as well.
Well, I just came back, Craig, about a week ago. We played the famous Table 46 game that used to play always at the Aussie Millions. It was called Table 46. It was the VIP room at the back. We used to play Hold'em, Omaha, and Omaha Low. It was a limit game. We used to play 200, 400. It was a black chip game. And that game was one of the most popular and most fun times, and it still was. And because Crown is so difficult to work with these days, we decided to play down at Stacked, and everyone had a really good time. But Table 46, we've had Phil Lark play, Jason Mercier play, Phil Helmuth play, Nina Bedak play, the Hendon Mob, Ram Vaswani ended up playing. Jungle Man. It was called the Jungle Man when we finished with him. We called him the Jingler. He was pulling his hair out, and he goes, because it was a very loose game, and trust me, it was a very loose game, and trying to put people on hands in our table 46 game, forget about it. And we've had a lot of famous people come through and play and in that game. And anyway, we decided to move it to stacked, and we started off 6-7 handed. It was myself, normally Jeff Lysandro and Gary Benson couldn't make it this particular time. The famous Maharaja Ash Goodman, Jared Flopnuts on You was there, Mike Tomini, who's a regular in the game. And then all of a sudden, Piers Hines decided to jump in from Adelaide. Chris Edgar, Chris Brown. Next thing you know, 4 o'clock in the morning, we're 10-handed. Nick Williams, and everyone loved it. Everyone had a ball, and Andrew and Curly did a magnificent job. They prepare a big platter for us every night. They'd run down, give us a bakery run at 12 midnight. Who wants a bakery run? Oh yeah, Portuguese tart over here, milkshake over here. Next thing you know, who wants bowls of fruit? And then we had ice creams at 3 in the morning. It was poker. It was a poker buffet.
Yeah, the hospitality down at Stacked sounds really good as well, because I've seen they've got some golf day happening on the Wednesday midweek during the series this time. And
Yes,
I was
looking at
they had a 3-course meal as well. I saw Philip Mignon and Shiraz and salt and pepper squid on the menu. $125 for a golf day and the food as well.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely looks to me like I'm going to have to put that on my agenda. They've also got a wine tour. The tournaments actually start on the 27th of January. I'll be going up, and they've got anywhere from the low, if you haven't got a lot of money, the $300, they've got some $300 events up to $5,000 events. We've got a 5K high roller. They've got a 2K main event, which will probably get over 200 players. The 4K last year, the Croc Challenge got over 80 players.
Yep.
They've got a mystery bounty, which is always one of my favourites, as you all know, and which is $1,350, $1,650 PLO. So there's plenty. Don't think it's a low limit tournament. There's plenty of money to be made. You know.
Yeah, it looks like the first week sort of all smaller events and satellites, and then that second week is where the high roller stuff starts. And as you said, last year they got some big numbers for that. They even had an 8K. I saw they got 39 in the 8K last January as well. So if they're going to get 5K this year, I reckon they'll get 80 at least.
We should get close to 80 with the 5K. You know, I'm just from experience from last time we had, I think the Croc Challenge, which is the 4K event, they got over 80. So I think they should get somewhere between 70 and 80 players for the 5K. It's getting more popular. People are actually enjoying coming to Stack. You get as I said, Andrew and Curly do a really good job. They're very, and the staff is excellent there. They've got masseuses there at hand, and that's why it's called Stack Social. That it is social, and everyone has a good time. You can win some money and have a good time at the same time. We've also got a wine tour during the series as well, which you should go to the wine tour. Last year we went down the rabbit hole, and we ended up down the drunk hole.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to come over to Stack, but it just always have something on. I've never even been to Adelaide, so we probably won't be able to make it this time because I'm planning on going to Cambodia WPT. But yeah, I will come there some point in this year for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking of going to Cambodia too, Troy. Had it on the agenda. Then I thought, my God, with WPT up as well, the Gold Coast, and then I had the Stack series. I thought, well, I don't want to have divorce on the table, so I better cut some of the events out. So I promised Danny McDonough I will go to one of his Asian events. I love going to Danny McDonough's events. Maybe the next one he's got. I used to love going to his Macau when it was in Macau. So hopefully Macau will come back on the cards as well.
What do you got a question there, Cathy?
Oh no, I was just pointing out. I think that's a really impressive draw card that Stack does have, because as we know, not everyone from poker lives in Adelaide, and so if you're going to travel, I think it's really important when you do travel that there is something else that you can do other than just poker. And I think that them making it a social club and them having those options like the wine day and the golf day, I think that's a really, really, really great draw card that I think that other brands should maybe start adapting in order to there's so much competition. Where are you going to go? You've got all these options. I think that making something just also a destination is a really great option for poker clubs.
I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll pull out of my own pocket. Whoever mentions that they're on the podcast and they come and they knock me out, I'll buy them and their wives or their girlfriends a cocktail or a couple of drinks, whatever of their choice at Stack. So I mentioned the podcast.
Oh, there you go.
You heard it here, guys.
So you knock out the Croc, you get you get a couple of drinks, couple of cocktails down the stack, and they are magnificent cocktails down there.
Yeah, I mean, Cathy and I watched the High Stakes Heroes.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys, Alex Antonius, and I think it was Beth. She was doing some nice cocktails. She's got a bit of a talent there for making cocktails as well as dealing. We saw that. Obviously, some great dealers down there. Phoebe goes down there and deals.
Yeah, she's a great dealer.
Patrick was being a TD down there last time. He's from Sydney, I think. Is that right,
Yeah,
Cathy?
Sydney.
Yeah, so they really have it set up down there, and it seems like it is a high quality staff, service, and just the room looks amazing too.
I played in that High Stake Heroes, and they bought this drink called the Jam Donut. Oh my goodness! I don't know how many calories it was, but geez, it was delicious. I love Baileys in my drinks. I had Baileys and whatever other stuff I added. I'm not really sure, but I drank so much of it. Obviously, you can see I was, some of the events I was bluffing a lot more than I would normally bluff.
Well, I mean, you weren't bluffing, I don't think, when you took a mouthful of that cat food. The reaction on your face.
I love that episode.
Go Crocky! Oh, that was small. You got to, hey, proper spoon.
Yeah.
Proper spoon.
Oh my God. Water. I need water.
Eat a little once, Crocky. That is not a foosball. He's got one more.
No, wait, he's
He's got one more. Nah.
Yeah,
I was going to eat the whole thing. Okay.
I think I've got to pay you 1,000.
He's giving up?
200 each.
200 each? 200 each. We'll
200 each.
All right. Okay, well done.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Just to remind you of that.
That was, I tell you, I didn't. The thing was, everyone had to do it. If not, I had to pay everyone 500. So they let me off, and I had to pay everyone 200 because I had 3 scoops and I had like a quarter of the can. It was just.
You're gonna have to clip that in, Craig.
Anyway, it was all a lot of fun. It was actually a lot of fun, and that's what's as I said, that's what I like doing about poker. When we all have a bit of fun and have crack a joke, and that's why I like playing with Troy too, because he cracks jokes at the center.
Yeah, it's good. When he's not stuck into his phone playing Candy Crush.
Get out of it.
When he's being social, he's a funny guy.
I had to delete that app off my phone because I couldn't get off it. There you go. Candy Crush. I just kept going. Oh, this is fun. This is good.
You also mentioned the Crown, and obviously, you used to play the Aussie Millions down there. Obviously, we haven't had that for a few years. We're hoping to have it back. But you've actually won 2 Aussie Millions rings. Is that right, or 3?
I won. Yeah, I think I've won. Let me get this right. I've definitely won 1. It was the first time they ever came out. I won the Manila Championship down there. I've also won the 10K horse event there during the Aussie Millions.
Yep.
And during Danny McDonough days, I won. I won the APLPT.
Yeah. Okay.
David Yen came 3rd at the time, and that was my last big win. I've made a lot of final tables. I haven't been able to crack it for a win. So maybe this year, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll start getting back on the winners table.
Well, I know you're a pretty humble guy, but we might talk about a few of your achievements there. So I was going through your Hendon, and you've actually won trophies in no limit hold'em, obviously, limit hold'em, 2-card Manila, as you just mentioned, horse, pot limit Omaha. There was a 7-card stud Omaha low split.
Yep.
Omaha 8 ball pay gow in
America
somewhere.
That was in America. That was at the Northern.
And then the old 5-card draw tournament as well. So you've done it all. You've won trophies in absolutely everything. That's a pretty cool resume.
I actually think I have. I think I've won in every form of poker. I've won a trophy. Correct. Yeah. Which you can think of. I don't think there's one that I haven't won. Probably I won in Omaha. No, my limit hold'em. I've done Yeah. I think every event I've won.
Well, they've changed the games just for you, maybe. So,
they mixed me up. They
brought out 5-card PLO, and then I saw Lachlan Crilly won a 6-card PLO the other day up in Brisbane at the Empire Mixed Game Academy. So, that must be. You'll have to start playing some 5- and 6-card games now just to make it a bit trickier.
And Big O they brought in as well. Yeah, they brought all these different games: Badoogie, Triple Draw, Badusi. I don't know, all these mixed games.
All the carnival games.
All the carnival games. But I like playing horse.
What was the first form of poker that you got yourself into? Like, where did you start with poker?
Okay, very good there, Catherine. First time I played, Mel Judah invited me to his home cash game. and it was 7-card stud, and I lost $2,000. At that time, I was earning $250 a week, and I thought, that wasn't very good. There's 8 weeks' wages down the drain. Then I went it took me about a month to go back again. I lost $1,000. I go, I must be getting better. Then I read books. Then I started
Positive thinking. I like
that.
Then I started grabbing some books and realized how bad I was actually playing. And probably things turned around. So we used to play 7-card when I grabbed the super system, which was back then, it was How to Win $1 Million Playing Poker. It was called, and then they changed it to the super system. I think I've got the original book, and I read up, and then I read how Doyle was always aggressive, and I was always passive. So I became more aggressive, and then started to get a little bit better in the cash games, and then sort of started going tournaments and having some success, and continued on from there. So it wasn't all roses at the start, definitely. But Mel was probably regarded the best poker player in Australia at the time back then. And he went to Vegas. I think he won 7-card bracelet, 7-card high-low, 3 bracelets, if I remember correctly, for him. And so he's always been a good friend of mine. And I went to his tournaments also in Noumea when he had him over there. So, which I always enjoy spending time with Mel.
Yeah, you raise another important point here, I think, for poker in general. So you got into poker, you turned up to a game, you lost. You turned up again, you lost again, but you'd slightly improved. But then you got a book and you realized that this is a game that I can actually learn at and get better at and improve, like any game, really, like golf or tennis or chess. So, and then, you got better and you learned. And now, these days you're known as Billy the Croc, and you're an Australian Hall of Famer as well. So, I mean, it just goes to show from starting where that first game where you did no good, you didn't get disheartened.
I was disheartened, trust me.
Yeah, but you came back. You were disheartened, but you came back. And you were determined to get better and improve and mix it up with, as you say, Mel Judah, who's one of the best players in Australia at the time, and also a Hall of Famer as well. And you took it up with him, and that's a really good story for poker, I think. And anyone can do that, right?
Yeah, look, anyway, I always tell people, if you're going to start, a lot of people come up and go, "Oh, I really want to play the main event at the Aussie Millions. I really want to play. Do you think I should play a Croc?" I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. If you want to, does $10,000 hurt your bankroll?" And they go, "That's a lot of money." I said, "Well, don't play it. What shall I do then?" I said, "Go play a satellite. Spend $1 or $2,000 in satellites. If you're good enough to win the satellite, and the poker gods are with you, that's it." Now, the first time, this is honest truth, the first 5 times I played at the World Series, or maybe 6, 7 times, I never paid once 10,000. I won satellites to every single time. That's how I got in. I got in either through a $200 satellite or a $1,000 one-table satellite with 10 players. I paid this year. I went last year, I should say, which I haven't been there before that. And other times I'd won online things, but it is a lot of money to put up. Now, if it doesn't hurt you and you want to play the main, put up the 10K. As long as if you lose, you're going to turn around and say, "Well, I wish I didn't do that." That's the only thing I recommend, because obviously everyone wants to play a main event in any tournament. It's always exciting. It's big numbers. They're good structures. But
over in Vegas, there's that many satellites that run as well. It's like a 500 every 2 hours. Is a 1K closer to the main as well. So there's lots of opportunity.
There's a lot of opportunity for if there's 10,000 a lot to put up for most people. Now, to me, I say you take a chance, and if the poker gods are with you, you win a satellite, and you should be playing. And don't put up, because the other bottom line is, don't forget, they only pay 85. They only pay 15%. So out of 100 players, 85 aren't going to get paid. So the odds aren't with you to actually get paid. Obviously, if you happen to score big, great. But, look at what Moneymaker did. I think $10 tournament at Poker Stars there, Troy. Was that right?
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of players that have done really well have come through satellites.
And look at Shireen Vajoram, who we had on this show.
Yeah, he's got a story.
Episode 5, $165 satellite and the 1.6 million. You know Shireen pretty well, and that's a remarkable story. He's like our Chris Moneymaker.
Yeah, there you go. So so I always tell, that's why I always sort of try to say, if you can afford it and you really want to play, and it's not going to hurt you, just go ahead, pony up the money.
My biggest win was from a satellite as well at the Star. It was $175 satellite into the $1,500 main event, and chopped it up with Jen Castle for 100K. That was huge.
Well, there you go. That's
so-
enormous.
I had a deep run in the main this year. I studied in. Come 411th out of the 11K runners at the WSOP main this year. So
Yeah, that was about 45K or something, wasn't it, Troy?
yeah, I think 40K US or something like that.
And what was the satellite get you in? How much was the satellite that you played over there?
I played a few $500 ones, but it was like 1 in 20 or whatever. So, but then I played a 1K one, and the first 1K one I played,
So you probably spent 2 or 3K on satellites instead of the
Yeah.
10K buy-in, and turned it into 45K. You know, and there's plenty of stories like that. So that's the big story I like to promote to people in poker. You know, you don't have to have all the money. You know, it's
That's just like, as I said, these stack series, as you said, the early events are $300. They've got a mini main for $400. They've got a mini main, which is only $400 instead of the $1,650 which is the main. The 2,000 for the main. So it's a fifth of the price. So if you want to play a main event, it's at the same structure. Coming down and play the $400 one there.
Well, they have a 280 main event milestone with 5 tickets guaranteed, I think, on the first Tuesday there. So they're doing the milestone satellites as well. So that main will really get some numbers, all the satellites. That's what these places do really well that have their own room, is they run their satellites really well leading up to it. And then they just build that. And because they've got the numbers, then they get the more direct buy-ins as well. Crown used to do it for the Aussie Millions really well.
Yeah, they do.
We'll end our Croc Tales segment there, Billy, because what I wanted to do now is get into our segment, which we like to call In the Blender. I'll just get you guys to test your buzzers loud, and then what I'll do is, you can do that. All right, yeah, that's perfect if you want to do that. So hang on, can you make him do it a bit louder? Perfect.
Oh my god!
All right, so that's Croc's buzzer, and then obviously Cathy will say Cathy, Troy will say Troy. Unless you want to say something else. Have you got a stuffed toy there, Cathy, you want to pull out? No? A little Elmo? Maybe we can get you a little Elmo. Troy, you can be cracking a can of Fanta or something like that. That might be an idea. But no, you've done well there, Croc. That's good.
We've gone from a poker show to
Well, as I said, the in the blender segment, I've been really getting into crocodiles this week. So my first question is Crocodile Rock. Who sung it?
Cathy.
Yes, Cathy.
Oh my god, Elton John, right? Elton John.
Yes, well done. Yeah,
all right.
Elton John.
Actually, another one's a music one as well. Which Australian singer sung the Crocodile Roll?
Well, you've got it there. Crocodile Roll.
Crocodile Roll, yeah.
Australian singer.
Cathy.
Yeah.
Shannon Knoll.
No, close.
Okay.
He also sung. He sung Waltzing Matilda at the Australian Soccer, I believe, as well. I remember him on the guitar. Sings True Blue. Heard of John Williamson?
No.
Ever heard of John Williamson?
He used to own Crown.
Did he? Maybe.
Yeah, he did. Lloyd's son.
Okay, well, we'll put that one down as a duckhead. I'll give myself a point for that one. John Williamson.
Right, yep. Craig won. Cathy won. Troy and me bananas.
Yeah. All right. Well, we talked about Crocodile Dundee a bit earlier, Billy. Who was the actor that played Paul Hogan's girlfriend?
What?
Yeah, it's
Mick Dundee's girlfriend. Mick Dundee's girlfriend. I think they got married later on in life
they
as
did.
well.
The blonde girl, something Swashowski or something.
Yeah, she was blonde. Yeah.
One girl.
You seen Crocodile Dundee, Cathy? You're a bit young, but this was 1986.
I'm guilty. I've seen snippets, but I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing. So I'm a bit. Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, it's Linda Kozlowski is the name. And,
I said Koshowski.
That's my mum's name. Linda.
Linda Kozlowski. Yeah, I believe they got married.
Her last name isn't Kozla.
What American city was Crocodile Dundee set in?
Hello, Troy.
Yeah, Billy.
Los Angeles.
No.
Oh, yeah. I said LA too, Troy.
Cathy, you just went there.
Tr-
Maybe you should have been there and checked out where they set the Crocodile Dundee movie.
Cathy,
Yeah,
New York.
yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Apple.
New
Yeah,
York.
the Big Apple. Yeah.
The Big
Yep.
Apple was in New York, yeah. I mean, they might have done a scene in Los Angeles as well, but it was definitely New York where.
I remember seeing it at LA, but I could be completely.
Yeah, I probably stitches up there. It might be LA. We might have to go back and check the tape there.
We
and
go watch
check the
Crocodile
stats,
Dundee. We
but
get
definitely New York, yeah.
This is a Crocodile Dundee plug.
Yeah. All right, next question.
I think it's too much Crocky.
If I was at the home of the crocodile hunter in Australia, where would I be?
Troy,
Where?
Queensland.
Oh, a bit more specific. Like, stuff the country.
Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, at what?
Mar-
No, not the
Say
city.
the name of the thing.
At what? Where? What would it be a time zone or
You'll
Henry
be at
Bowling?
the Australian Wildlife Park.
Australia Zoo? We'll give you
Australian
that.
Zoo.
Close enough. Yeah,
Australian Zoo.
that was a good effort. That was.
Okay.
Oh dear. All right. Well, on the sort of the zooey subject, what do you call a female crocodile? A mother crocodile. What do you call it? It's another type of animal that you might have on a farm.
What?
Troy, a calf.
Yeah, actually, calf's a young one. Cow. Yeah, mother
Really?
crocodile is called a cow. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I didn't know it until about half an hour before we started filming this
I
show.
didn't know that
So I'm guilty there as well. Two more questions. The French luxury sports brand that sells. Yes.
Lacoste.
Lacoste.
Yeah.
They definitely have a crocodile. I was trying to get the question.
Hey, finally
You
got off
guessed
the
it.
board.
Lacoste. Yes. French sports brand. And the final question. This one's from I reckon Billy might get this one. The college football team. They don't have a crocodile as a mascot, but they have an alligator.
Florida Gators.
Florida Gators, yes.
Oh my god, we need a tiebreaker. It's 2-2-2.
Is it?
Yes.
I got two. I know that. I don't know about Troy. I think he's
He got a
got one.
painful 2. He got a very painful 2.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take them when they come.
True or false? All right. Alligators and
Troy.
crocodiles. What?
True.
Well, I'll change the question now, so it's false.
I was going to say, probably false, you donk. As soon as you mention alligators and crocs, there's got to be something different.
Is it true or not?
What's the question?
True or false? When crocodiles lose their teeth, they regrow.
Cathy,
True.
What's the answer, Cathy?
Troy.
it is true.
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
What was the first question? True or not?
Yeah, what was the question for the first one? When
The one that
alligators
Troy
and
said.
Yeah, what was that?
Crocodile starts with the letter K. That's always wrong.
He just made that up. He just made that up, Troy.
Yeah. So that's good. I think we'll give that to
Cathy.
Cathy. Well done, Cathy. You got your first one on the board in the blender. That was a bit of fun. Yes, I also wanted to just mention, we talked about Adelaide Stacked, but there was a big series at Southport Sharks earlier this year already. Smashed some records, $1.8 million series. I just wanted to shout out to Romain Morvan. He took out 2 wins there, I believe.
2
Is that
wins.
right? Yeah, and 2 big ones as well. He took out the Jackstar, which was another record prize pool at Southport Sharks. I think he chopped it with Paris.
Yep.
But he ended up with 68K. There was 342 runners. And he also took out the 1K bounty. That was another 15K or so. So he had a pretty good series there. Dipper, shout out to him. His 2025 has only been the first series. He already won the Centurion. Chris Zenenos.
Christopher, yes.
You know, Dipper Billy, you would have played him quite a bit. He loves it.
Another Greek, another fellow Greek.
Shout out to Tony Liu. Gold Coast local, took out the main event, 1,279 entries there. And it wouldn't be a year if Jade Mitchell hadn't won a trophy already. Jade Mitchell took out one of the ladies' events at APL, and Shelley Pooley, both ambassadors for Australian Poker Tour. They took out both ladies' events. So with that, might just mention our maiden winners this week. Some people that have never won a trophy, and they've been sticking with it, and they finally got the silverware. Alana King, she turned up to play the teams event, APL, and she had the bad news her partner had to pull out last minute, so she found another partner in the very well qualified Mina Tawfik, who's a APT main event champion, and she got her first trophy with Mina. It was $1,900 in their teams event. Jovan Kemp from the sunny coast, he took down a 203 entry deep freeze, which was also a record, his first trophy ever. 18K there. There's a tough final table. Stephen Vogt, Ray Wang, and Jake Cope. So it was quite a tough table, that one. And then we had a Brisbane physio and lawyer take out his first trophy in the Six Max. And I'm not sure if you railed this one, Cathy, because Shem was on the final table. But Scott Thornton, he took out 15K, 169 entries in the Six Max. Shem and Jade were on that FT too. So he did very well there as well. So I just wanted to shout out to those guys.
He gave him a good rub down.
Yeah. Do you remember your first trophy, Billy?
Got to think now. Probably would have been in Adelaide Casino, because I didn't. It would have been Adelaide Casino. I would have won one of the events there, but I can't remember the very first one. It might have been. I'm going to say draw poker, because
yes, I think you're right there too. But your first cash was actually in London. I looked up in 1989.
That was my first international cash. I cashed before at Adelaide. They probably haven't got them all up there. I played Adelaide in 88.
Yeah.
They probably didn't have the Hen and Mob.
They probably didn't know. So you actually cashed before. Yeah, true. If you cashed before Hen and Mob existed, probably wasn't your first. So
because I remember my very first tournament I ever went to, and my first cash I ever had was actually in Adelaide, in the 5-card stud championships. I finished second for 7,000. Which was back then, to me, it looked like $1 million. You know. Then I ended up going to the World Series that same time, a bit later on. So I think that was, March, Adelaide, and then ended up going with Mel Judah to the World Series. And he organised free room and accommodation for me. And that's when they got the nickname, and kept going for the next 7 years till 1996. You know,
certainly good memories, the first trophies and that. And it's, that's what I like to get people into poker. It's, a goal that they can set, get your first cash, then get your first trophy, and then get your first big win, and just set that goal. That's how you do it with any sport, any game, and poker's no different. So
it's very exciting. You have a cash, all of a sudden you run deep, especially main events. If you run deep in a main event, you pick up, like a few thousand, or then you feel good, and then you win your trophy, you feel really good.
Yeah, your first day 2 or day 3, it's like so exciting. You're all nervous.
First bag in a multi-flight event, etc. Yeah, it's good. And then you can go on your first, your first per game, and Billy's went through and done about a dozen of those with all the business I mentioned. So
when I used to play in the main event, when I actually just sitting down right from the start, my hands would shake. I was like, I just because I was just so, it was overwhelming for me to play in a 10K event. And I ended up having to always have a couple of Baileys just to relax me. And once I got in the game, I was fine. But always at the start, I just couldn't stop it. I just sit down at the table, and all of a sudden my hands just start shaking. Just because oh my goodness, main event. And I think for a lot of people, if they play their first main event for the first couple of times, they probably would be like that.
Yeah,
I was a little bit nervous. I jumped in with an hour left of day 1 this year, and that first hour I was a bit.
Are you at the World Series, Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you play day 1 or start day 2?
I played with an hour left of day 1, so an hour and a half of day 1 left. So I could just play for a couple of hours, and then I'll have a bag for day 2, and then it's all randomised where I sit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Correct. So you came in with about 100 bigs or something, if I remember correctly. I think you start 75 bigs day too. How did you find it? Like, where did they put you? Where did they seat? They seat you in the. Did you play on the horseshoe side, or were you in the para side?
I was in the where the feature table is.
Okay, that's the horseshoe side.
Yeah.
Oh wow, in that
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
So I was like 3 tables from like the feature table, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's an amazing experience in Vegas. One other thing we did over the break is we ran the Australian Poker Schedule's Fans Choice Awards.
Yeah, that was quite good. I saw that. That was very good by you guys.
Yeah, we did our best. It was a bit last minute, so we might change a few things up next year with how we nominate, and particularly around the dealers and TDs and that sort of thing. I'm working on something there, but we saw, Malcolm Trainer, Fans Choice Player of the Year, rightly so as well.
Yeah, rightly so, definitely.
Massive year. Jen Castle, she took out the Female Player of the Year by the Fans Choice, and rightly so as well. And we had Josh Baraba, who was a bit of an upset, I thought, but well deserved. He had a really good year, and I guess I'm just in Queensland, so I sort of don't see him as often as I see Lockie and Nathaniel Hutton and a few of the other guys. But congrats to him. Australian Poker Open voted Series of the Year, their first series, so that's a remarkable effort. It's very close between them and the APL Million. That was the biggest series outside of the casinos. Lauren from APO then took out that media other staff category, which I sort of made up, and we might fix that next year. But she narrowly beat Chris Waddy, who's a fantastic photographer. There's also a few other people that we missed out that were probably robbed, like Jordan Bromley and Braden Jinks and Brendan Hardy. Even Empire's streams, improving as well. So, they look to next year. And Taylor Pickles was always going to be a win for her, I thought. Very popular TD, but there are so many dealers and staff that really make a lot of effort and really good at their job. And Taylor's no exception. She's obviously one of the best, but that could have, a lot of them would have deserved that award as well. So congratulations to all those winners.
Yeah, congratulations everyone.
Yeah, we also put up some stats, series prize pools throughout the year. So I'm not going to go through it all, but if you are interested in any of that, go to the AustralianPokerSchedule.com.au and under the stats and honours. First of all, if you click on that menu, you'll see the Australian Hall of Fame. I've redone that page, and you'll see our special guest listed there. Billy,
they've still got that up somewhere, have they?
Yeah, well, I redid it because it was a bit of an old website, and I've taken it down. But I thought, it is quite an important part of Australian poker history. So we've put all that up, and we've got the stats.
Are they going to re-add it to Crown?
Are they going
to put it back up at Crown?
I'm not too sure what's going on there, because they've moved the room from downstairs to upstairs, and all them. To be honest with you, all the really good staff that I knew have sort of, the only one left is it Daniel? Daniel, I think. Yeah, like all the main staff's gone. Josh, APL now, Joel's moved. Haley, who used to help really be good for poker, she's moved other directions. Ante, I ran to Ante last night. He's moved to another area. So they've moved everyone along, and it looks like poker's been put on the back burner at Crown at the moment, But look, we should be very happy that all over Australia there's plenty of poker places that are doing really, really well, and and many beautiful events to play. There's actually you could actually go around Australia all year playing poker if you wanted to.
I think Joe Hasham has a lot to do with the Australian Poker Hall of Fame, obviously, and
the original setup was Tony G.
Right.
He created the Australian Poker Hall of Fame through Poker News and the Poker News Cup. And he assisted with his assistant from Maury Piers. Now, Maury, if you're out there, hopefully you're still alive, but he was the gentleman of poker, Maury.
Queenslander.
Yep, 100% Queenslander. Look, if he's still around, he's probably close to 100 now. Maury was always fun to play with.
Yeah, all right. So we've got some other series coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. Starting the end of this week, the APL 600. That's their first attempt at that, but they're back down at the Canterbury Hurlston Park RSL. Cathy,
Didn't that
you
used to
probably
be
go
at
down.
Townsville?
No, that's
No,
the APL 600.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's the they have it's a sort of a similar event, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the I guess this is the Sydney edition of the same tournament. But it's a 52 event series, Canterbury Hurlston Park. Cathy, you're going down to work there?
Yeah, so basically APL 600 is the middle ground between the PTs and the Millions. That's their vision with that. It's meant to be that middle ground where it's a deal-or-dealt main event, but they've still got those smaller events and then larger events as well, like a PT does. So yeah, that's what they're doing for this one. But I'll be there, and it should be really good. It's a good longer series. I think it's like 10 to 12 days or something.
52 events. 52 events you mentioned, Craig.
Yeah.
They put a lot back to back, and like there's small events, so they might have say if there's 10 events, they might have 10 days, they might have 5 per day, but they have small ones and big ones. Yeah, it's a bit different to it's a very different sort of thing to a Stacked or an Aussie Millions or something like that. But they've been doing it all around the country, and if you're a player, you got to be sort of mentally and physically prepared for it to play it, because they're good, but they're very popular, and they have that APL base of pub players and people that can earn PTCs or credits through the pub games of a week, and then they can add up and use it so they can play an $80 game, or if they could save them right up to a $2,500 Centurion. So it's not like winning tickets into an event, they can win credits and put them towards something. So yeah, that's why the 52 events, it's going to be pretty big. I think that's over 900,000 in guarantees, I thought, just which is huge. So that's going to be big. And then the Star has Brisbane. The Star Brisbane, they have their debut series this February in their brand new, I'd say it's the newest poker room in the country. I did have a quick look at it when I was up there last year. Looks like they've got about 20 tables or so, but I'm sure they'll expand that for the series. But it's in a brand new casino. So that's 8 big events, I think. And then they have it the week before, they have satellites. They've got a 2K high rollers. It's on the smaller. It's called the Poker Power Weekend. So it's not a major series. Like they've got the WPT in Prime in March, and then the WPT Australia in September. This is just sort of their local Brisbane championships, I guess, more or less. So it's 8 events, chance for 8 trophies, and a chance to play in the new poker room and experience.
Is Prime that at Brisbane, or is it at Gold Coast?
No, Prime's going to be at the Gold Coast. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to confirm because
this one's at Brisbane, and then all the WPTs are at Gold Coast.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was just wanted to.
Will Martin be running the one at Brisbane, or Martin's?
Yeah. So Martin's the group strategy manager, I believe, for the entire group. So he has a lot to do with Sydney, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast. So yeah, they're just putting this event on. I think they're just sort of, it's a debut series. So you wouldn't want to debut with the WPT Australia, like it's just to get things right. And I think it would be pretty good. All brand new tables and chips and everything like that.
Yeah, the actual establishment looks very nice. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I played a cash game there. It was pretty good.
You've been to the new one, Troy, yeah?
Yeah, I only was there for probably 4 or 5 hours, but played a cash game there, and all the chips were brand new.
It's a nice view from the from the brand new casino, and they've got a dozen restaurants and everything up there. So if you haven't been to Brisbane Casino, good chance to get there. But I like what I see too. We've got a couple of series, so the people in Brisbane can play that one. And if you're anywhere near Adelaide, or you're a high roller and want to play the bigger stuff, get down to Stacked, because as we said, that's where the big events at that time of year is. 5K, 2K main. They've got a 1650 mystery bounty, Croc. I don't think we mentioned that.
I actually did, but that's fine.
Yeah,
it's actually 13. It's 13. It's 1350, Craig. Not 16.
Right.
1650 PLO, 1350 mystery bounty, 5K high rollers, 2K main. Wine till golf day, and don't forget, if you knock out Billy the Croc, come and tap me on and say, "Listen, Craig said you owe me a couple of drinks."
Yes, we won't forget that.
Catherine said half a dozen.
And they've also got some Deuce to 7 game as well. That's a new one.
I saw it on the agenda, which I think it's a high limit. I think it's a pretty
7-deuce showdown, $250 buy-in on the first day. So you got to win with 7-deuce, I think, or something like that. Or no, if you bluff, you got to bluff. If you, it's sort of like the cash game they play, where they play the 7-deuce game. So no worries. So,
anyone played the stand-up game? Troy?
I love the stand-up game.
Catherine, I haven't played it, but anyone?
I haven't played it, but yeah,
it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, got to win a hand early on.
Yeah, when you start sweating.
Yep.
Pay everyone 500 or 200 or whatever you've all agreed to.
Yeah, it's all called squid games now too, and they've actually changed it so it's not the real stand-up game now. They've made the stand-up game for people that don't have to stand up, so they give you a button, right?
Token,
they give you the knit button, right? So
the knit button.
yeah. Just to drive, this created to create more action, and they look like a lot of fun as well. So no, we really appreciate that coming on the show, Billy, and that little promotion, that little sweetener you've given to anyone that goes to Adelaide and busts you. You might have a few, people trying to knock you out now.
I'm going to play a few tournaments, so you'll have a few chances to bust me, and I'll re-enter a few times as well. So,
are you going to play the golf?
I'm going to play the golf. Yeah, I'll have a crack at it.
Yeah, that's on Wednesday, the 5th of February, I think, midweek. So
I think it's Wine Tour Golf or Golf Wine Tour. One they sort of
it's golf on the 5th, and then the Wine Tour is a few days later, I believe. No, sorry, the Wine Tour was on the Tuesday. The Wine Tour is on the Tuesday.
Golf on the Wednesday.
Golf on the Wednesday. Yeah.
But basically, what happens is most of the events, because we go to the Wine Tour early and the golf day early, and then we come and play the tournaments after 6. So it actually works out really well. So you get to enjoy the day. Then after the Wine Tour, you come home nice and drunk, so you can play the tournament then, rebuy plenty of times. And after the golf day, you can come
it's
back.
It's the McLaren Vale. It's the McLaren Vale Wine Tour, which is the south part of Adelaide. And I've actually been on one of those and stopped by.
Well, I'm not too sure which one.
Maggie Beer's got like a little something out there that we stopped by and had some of her jams and pâtés and stuff like that. Really nice.
Well, last year we went down the rabbit hole and it was magnificent. Everyone had a great time. Lucky the bus driver was sober on the way back. We had a very, very good time. It was excellent down the rabbit hole. Lovely food and lovely wine.
And shout out to all our South Australian viewers. There's also not just Stack down there, Southern Poker Tour, and they do some great series and stuff at wineries and that as well. So that's good to see, because poker's all about that. So we might wrap up the show. Don't forget to follow us all on social media. Cathy's got her Instagram. Troy's got his Instagram. He's also got his Twitch. Billy, you're on Instagram?
Yeah, TikTok Crocky, they call me.
Right.
Actually, before we finish, I'll tell you a little funny story that I got set up in Vegas. So I've got a TikTok, which I'm a dinosaur, so my daughter set me up with a TikTok. So I put a couple of posts up, and I was getting like 400 views, 500 views, and I've got like, I don't know, 600 followers. All of a sudden, the next day I wake up, 2,000 followers. The next day, 3,000 followers. Next day, 5,000 followers. They go, wow, on the chat, all the boys in the group chat, they go, oh, Croc's gone viral. Everyone, oh, look at these guys, sensation. Anyway, if you look at my TikTok, I've got 50,000 followers, right?
Really?
Bloody Warwick. No, this is the funny bit. So everyone's going, so my daughter at home's going, Dad, look at this. I said, Jess, this can't be right. I said, my Instagram's still got about the same. Someone's setting me up here. Of course, Warwick, I'm going to dob you now, Warwick. Warwick M decided to go buy me some people. And they're all having a giggle. They're all having a giggle with me. Because Warwick loves setting me up. He just sets me up time and time. Do you guys know Warwick?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Troy, Warwick loves, he's the best story you've ever seen. I'll give you one more story before we go. You'll love this. So many times when we had the Vegas, he goes, oh, everyone knows you in Vegas, don't they, Croc? I go, yeah, look, I've been around a bit. I don't know. He goes, oh, you must be so famous. So I'm playing at in the Bellagio, and this guy comes and taps me on the shoulder and he goes, are you Billy the Croc? I said, yeah. He goes, look, big fan. Do you mind signing me, give me a sign? I said, what's your name? He goes, James. I said, okay. So I just grabbed a sheet of paper. I started writing to James. all the best on the poker tables. May you make plenty of royal flushes. Billy the Croc signed, had in the paper. Anyway, 2 hours later, we're at the dinner with me, Warwick, George, Jason, Gary. They're sitting there. And Warwick goes, "Look what I bought, Croc." I said, "What's?" He pulls out this sheet of paper with what I signed. I'm going, now I'm confused. I'm going, what? Then they pull out this video. They've dragged some guy off. They've dragged some guy out of walking past, giving him $10. They've gone up. They've got this video. This guy come up and he's going, "This guy here." They go. He taps me on the shoulder. As I'm signing, he turns around and he's going, takes the sheet, gives it to him. So it was a complete setup. Guy never had a clue who I was. Next day, I'm with George Marcus, who was part of the steering group as well. We have lunch at the Wynn, and he goes, "Oh, let's go play some poker." I go, "Yeah, all right, George, where do you want to go?" He goes, "Oh, let's go to that table over there." So he points to the table. So we sit down. So I'm seat 5, guys next to me in seat 6, and George is sitting in seat 9. Guy next to me just looks at me and goes, "Hey, aren't you Billy the Croc?" And I said, "Get that. Mate, George, another one of you. What the F is going on here, mate? Another one of your cronies? Are you setting me up again?" And I used the F word a couple of times, and the guy looks at me and he goes, No, Billy the Croc, he did this, da, 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 da. And it wasn't. I'm apologising to the guy. Go, "Mate, look, I'm really sorry. Can I buy you a drink?" And of course, George goes, "Of course you're going to buy him a drink, Croc. They free." So the day was a complete setup, and I thought he's doing it again, and this guy was actually genuine. So just the mixture of events. But that's Warwick. Troy knows Warwick. He loves the slow roll, absolutely loves the slow roll, and he just takes loving the piss out of everybody. But that's Warwick setting me up on TikTok, and he set me up that time with the autograph.
No, well, you do have a lot of fans, Billy. So definitely have a lot of real, genuine fans, and hopefully you get to see you on the podcast. And
yeah, my mum loves me.
You'll share it as well. And if everyone comes across the channel, please like the video, subscribe, share it. We're doing our best here. We love doing it. And yeah, so with that, we'll wrap it up there. As I said, thanks for coming on, Billy.
Thanks,
we love seeing the crocodile.
No, thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Craig. And hope to see as many people down at Stacked. And thanks for letting me come on the show. And thank you very much. And listen, keep enjoying poker. All the bad beats will always come, but you also have some good ones as well.
100%.
Perfect. Good advice there. All right. We'll catch you next time. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Ciao.
See ya.
Bye.